This is episode 111 of the Noob Sports Show. Today I sit down with Rayan Vatti, the founder of Wager Champs, a new fantasy sports betting platform that's in beta right now, but looking to make waves in this space.
This is crazy.
Everywhere you turn, it's the same old sports talk, the same headlines, the same news, and the same boring information. This podcast is here to change all of that. We bring you hot sports takes, winning sports betting strategy and picks, reliable gaming industry news, and breaking interviews with some of the biggest names in sports business. My name is Ryan Newpel, and welcome to the Noob Sports Show. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Newpel, the host of the Noob Sports Show. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. We are well over 100 episodes, and today we have another awesome guest with us. We have Rayan Vatti. Ryan, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited.
Awesome. Ryan is the founder of Wager Champs, an up-and-coming fantasy sports betting platform that you aren't going to want to miss. Man, I'm excited to hear a little bit about what's going on in your world, Ryan. But first, how are you? Are you staying safe? Everything good through this last few months of craziness? Everything good with you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there.
Awesome. And you're based out of Arizona, correct?
Yep, I'm in Phoenix.
Yeah. So were you able to mentally cope with the no sports there for a few months, or how did you get through life without sports? I know it was tough on me.
I mean, yeah, I think it's been really tough for everyone, and I'm glad I've been working on this project because otherwise a world without sports would have been really tough for me to get through. But this has taken up so much of my time that, I mean, it hasn't been as big of a deal as it ordinarily might have been.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You know, a lot of times when you have like a passion project or even a business or whatever you have going on, you know, that kind of fills the void and you almost like ignore things that are going on around you. But enough of the small talk. Let's get into the real guts of this. I want to hear a little bit about Wager Champs. So tell us, give us a high level overview of Wager Champs, the platform.
Sure. So I'll just give you the quick version to start. But Wager Champs combines sports betting with season-long fantasy sports. And we are doing this to create a completely risk-free but still competitive and social sports gaming experience. And basically how it works is users make bets using a fantasy bankroll, so completely fake money, and they make sports bets with that bankroll in our on-site sportsbook, which has all the odds, the bet types, the sports you'd see in Vegas. We have everything. And obviously if it was just betting with fake money, that would be pretty boring and nobody would want to play that. So what we did was we created a few different game modes. We have head-to-head 8-team leagues, which work similar to fantasy football leagues, except with sports betting. Each week, teams face a different league mate in a head-to-head matchup, and they compete to win their bets and build the highest fantasy bankroll possible. And then leagues are round-robin style with playoffs and a championship game. Pretty much just like fantasy football, except sports betting.
Very cool, man. So tell me, what made you roll out of bed one day and say, you know what, I think I want to start a business around fantasy sports and betting. What's your background? Are you a sports guy through and through? Just give me a little bit of what kind of made you tick to make this happen.
Yeah, I've been a sports guy my entire life. I played soccer, basketball, and tennis in high school. I've been playing and watching sports since I can remember. And I never got into sports betting myself. I played a lot of fantasy sports, but in college, which I actually graduated from college last May. So in college, I had a couple of roommates who bet a lot, and it was interesting because at one point they were like losing a little bit of money, and they said they were done betting, which, as you might know, for a sports bettor just means taking a break. And so they took their break, but they would still look at the lines in the morning, make picks, text them to each other, kind of watch their picks in action, and even trash talk a little bit. And it seemed weird to me at first because they weren't really betting with real money anymore, so I don't know why they cared. But I soon realized that just like a lot of people, they weren't betting because of the money or only because of the money. They were betting because they liked predicting the games and they liked how it made the games more interesting and they liked competing with each other. And that's what I'm trying to capture with Wager Champs. I'm trying to allow people to compete with each other and have that social experience of fantasy sports without risking their hard-earned money.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And so, I mean, as you probably know, I mean, this space is, it's booming right now, right? I mean, this whole area, people talking about fantasy sports, talking about sports betting in the United States, lots of activity going on. And I'm assuming lots of competition in this area. What kind of will make Wager Champs stand out above the rest? Or do you guys have a differentiating factor above competition that kind of makes you what you are?
Yeah, well, so it's obviously a very crowded space, the sports gaming spaces and the fantasy sports spaces, but nobody else is really doing what we're doing with our season-long fantasy style sports betting leagues.
Hmm.
There's nobody else that has a fantasy sports book like we do with all the sports that we do and all the bet types and all the odds, and then just our style of having people
Sure.
compete in season-long leagues and playoffs and a championship game. There's nothing else like this on the market right now.
So where are you at? Where are we? Are we? I mean, are you launched? Are you up and running? What stage is Wager Champs in?
Yeah, so we're beta testing right now. The product is, I would say, 90% finished, and we're just getting that final feedback from some users and from our live testing groups so we can make those changes. And if all goes as planned, we're going to either target a November 1st or a December 1st launch date.
That's so cool, man. That's really cool. It's a cool story, and man, I just anytime I hear a young kid, I'm gonna call it. You're gonna age myself. You know, a young kid like yourself that's right out of college and jumping into something like this because I know how hard this stuff is, and a lot of times I maybe regret not jumping into some business opportunities way back when I was out of college, right? And I waited, and now I'm loving everything I do in business. And so for you to kind of take that jump and jump right into your passion right out of college, man, I give you a lot of props, and that's pretty awesome.
I appreciate that. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I bet. And along with the fun, though, I'm sure comes a lot of challenges, right? I mean, as we all know, there's just challenge upon challenge of running and operating a business like this. And I'd love to hear maybe a couple of them that have been, some of your biggest challenges through, the first parts of this company.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest challenge is there's just not enough time in the day
Mm.
because right now I'm still working a 9 to 5 full-time job at a marketing agency.
Mm-hmm.
Right after that, I'll go home, eat some dinner, hit the gym, and then I'll be working on Wager Champs from like 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. And it can be brutal and exhausting and frustrating at times, but I still do it because I believe in the vision. I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm really passionate and believe that Wager Champs can be big.
So do you have are you a technical type of guy? I mean, who's doing the coding? Are you a coder at heart, or do you have a guy or a team with you that's helping you do some of that technical work?
No, so I'm not a technical guy myself.
Mm.
I'm actually right now looking to bring on a technical co-founder, but to build out our initial product, I hired an offshore team. And
Cool.
going into it, I heard a lot of advice saying like you got to be really careful with your offshore team, and I vetted a lot of different agencies and a lot of different people, and I'm really happy with the work they've done, and they've started to become really passionate about the product too. It's funny. Just the other day, they were giving me like some suggestions, like, "Hey, it'd be really fun if we added like this or we added that," and it's just really cool to see them getting invested in the project as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing people have to keep in mind. There's not one path to success. I mean, just because some people have had bad experiences with maybe an offshore agency or something like that doesn't mean it's not going to work for everyone. And, it's interesting to me to hear that that's your path. Some people are able to code it themselves. Some people have capital behind them and are able to hire. There's not one path to success in business. I mean, you got to figure out what works for you and what works the best. And it sounds like, you made the right choice and you're happy with it. So that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
That's cool. That's cool. So what are you looking for now? So, I mean, you're in beta testing right now. A lot of listeners here are probably, startup entrepreneurs as well, or experienced business professionals in the sports betting space. What are you looking for? What message do you want to send to them, through this interview?
Well, right now, my entire goal over the next month or two is traction, 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 traction. because right now I'm 100% bootstrapped. I haven't sought any investor funding because my plan has always been to bootstrap and kind of grit and grind my way to traction. So then I can approach investors with a proven concept and some real results, because I don't expect anybody to take me at my word that this is going to work and that this is going to be big. So I want to go out and over the next couple of months, execute my marketing plan and really prove that this is a platform that users are going to have a lot of fun on, that users are going to enjoy, that they're going to want to tell their friends about. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Doing that as a bootstrap product is tough, I'd imagine. But with your beta coming up here, that's amazing. So I'd urge everybody listening, definitely get into the beta. Wagerchamps.com, right? I mean, I think that's where they can start and go check it out and see the beginnings, correct?
Yeah, so on wagerchamps.com right now, we have our pre-launch website up, and we have a mailing list you can sign up for. And one thing I probably should have made clear before is this is a kind of unique thing with us, but we're going to have some free modes and some free games, but a lot of our competitions are going to be behind a very small subscription. And that will just allow us to keep growing and keep adding more game modes and making the product as good as possible. And our initial subscription is going to be $15 per year, which when you break it down by month is really nothing. And we're giving everybody that goes and signs up for our mailing list before launch a big discount. And we're also going to be giving away a lot of giveaways on our mailing list. So that's something you definitely want to go and join.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, follow-up question to that. Thanks for sharing kind of the monetization strategy, subscription-based, and the games are free once you're under that. And there are some free games as well, it sounds like. But I'm curious, are you guys developing an app as well, or is this app version, or is there going to be a desktop version? What style of play is your game? Or what
So we're
platform can they play
starting
on?
with a website. So it's going to be mobily optimized. So you'll be able to play on your phone. Like I've tested it out. Like all of our users are having a lot of fun playing with it on their phones too. But eventually we're going to also turn this into an app, and yeah, we're going to add a lot to this. This is just the beginning stages, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. I think it can take off, and I really think users are going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the space, as I said, there's kind of unlimited potential in this space, and if you have a great product, if you have a vision behind it, and you mentioned marketing plan, executing the marketing plan, I think customer acquisition is one area that just is a battle in this space, right? I mean, people are fighting for customer acquisition, from the big ones like FanDuel, DraftKings, all of these, everyone's fighting for that attention and for that customer acquisition. So I'd be curious, what and I don't need a full answer to what your marketing plan is, but what kind of things do you have in mind for, getting eyeballs on this and getting some people at least looking at it?
Yeah. So, as you said, customer acquisition right now in this industry is really hard because there's so many companies competing for the same users, and you got DraftKings and FanDuel spending a ton of money on commercials and driving up prices for all other sorts of advertisements, even on social media. So our marketing plan right now is to be really creative with it. We're reaching out to a lot of influencers, and we already have some really promising results there. And we're going to do a lot of public relations and media relations, a lot of highly, highly targeted social media ads. And then I've also joined a bunch of like sports betting and fantasy sports communities and group chats. And I'm talking directly to customers and figuring out exactly what they want. And I know it's not all going to happen at once. I know that it's not going to launch on November 1st and there's immediately a ton of users on. It's going to be a slow process. We don't have the marketing budget to bring 100,000 users in all at once. But if we slowly build it up and bring in user by user, and then they tell their friends about it because they love the experience that much, we can have some success.
Well, it's pretty cool too. Just looking at your background a little bit, it looks like you have some experience in public relations, and now you get a chance to kind of use what you learned in college and with some of your other roles that you've had over small career working and things like that. But that's pretty cool that you're going to be now executing some of the stuff that you have learned and that you believe are true in this industry. So that's really cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, because I never thought I'd be using it for myself this early for sure when I was in college.
Yeah. Well, really cool, Ryan. This is awesome. I mean, I really appreciate you giving me some time. I know you're a busy guy, so I'll let you go. But one thing I want to ask: any last words for the listeners? Anything you maybe left out? Want to say before we get off here to people listening?
Yeah. So just check us out on www.wagerchamps.com and check out our mailing list. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff there. And then I know there's a lot of sports gaming business people on here. If you know anybody with a technical background that's looking to get involved in an up-and-coming project, you can send me an email at Rayan Vatti at wagerchamps.com.
You heard it here, guys. That was Rayan Vatti, the founder of Wager Champs. Ryan, I really appreciate you giving me some time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Everybody, check out wagerchamps.com. Go get your name in there for the beta. Check it out. It should be pretty cool. I'm going to get out there and check it out as well. Hey, appreciate everybody listening, tuning in, giving us a little bit of your time. Until next time, everybody, stay safe. Ryan, take care, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Noob Sports Show. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing to our iTunes channel today. Plus, visit us at noobsports.com for more picks, previews, strategy, and news. That's knupsports.com.